You're watching Nightline with me, Zahir, Kelvin and Abdullah. The top stories. Prime Minister calls on Malaysians to continue to uphold harmony and unity for national development. And probe into 4 million ringgit DBKL project linked to filmmaker to conclude next week. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar and Raja Permaisuri Agong Raja Zahir Sofia have extended their greetings to all residents of Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Labuan in conjunction with the Federal Territories Day. Their well wishes were conveyed through a poster shared on Sultan Ibrahim's official Facebook page. Federal Territories Day is celebrated annually on February 1st to commemorate the declaration of Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Labuan as federal territories. Kuala Lumpur was declared a federal territory in 1974, followed by Labuan in 1984 and Putrajaya in 2001. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, in his message marking Federal Territories Day, has emphasized that the values of compassion, love and unity must continue to be upheld in driving the country's holistic development. He stated that harmony and unity should always be prioritized to ensure national stability. In a Facebook post, Anwar stressed that the spirit of compassion, focusing on kindness, respect and appreciation among citizens, must continue to be upheld to drive progress together. He highlighted that the Madani concept as the government's administrative framework calls for all Malaysians to embrace solidarity and cooperation. He said all of these efforts are aimed at ensuring the nation's progress, not just for the present but also for future generations. Meanwhile, Federal Territories Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Dr. Zahir Mustafa, said the Chase City agenda will remain a priority this year to alleviate Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Labuan to the next level.
Jadi kita tidak mahu hanya melihat kepada bandaraya yang mungkin canggih daripada sudut teknologi tanpa kita mengambil kira entiti-entiti yang mungkin dilihat kecil tetapi sebenarnya memberikan impak yang sangat besar. Unsur-unsur ini kita kena masukkan sekali, jadi dalam setiap perancangan kita letakkan visi ini supaya kita tidak meninggalkan semua aspek dari sudut pembangunan yang seimbang tadi.
Chase City represents a vision to transform all 3 federal territories into clean, healthy, advanced, safe and eco-friendly cities. She also acknowledged that the development challenges in the 3 federal territories involved issues related to legacies which must be addressed carefully without overlooking the interests of the community. On another matter, Dr. Zahir said the internal investigation into procurement issues involving Kuala Lumpur City Hall DBKL and linked to actor and filmmaker Dato' Aflin Shauki is expected to be completed next week. The Federal Territories Minister stated that the internal audit aims to ensure proper governance and transparency within the department and its affiliated agencies.
Jadi siasatan sedang dijalankan, saya menunggu hasil siasatan dan insyaAllah kalau tidak bersalah dan tak ada masalah lah. Tetapi jika ada apa-apa yang terkait maka kita akan ambil tindakan seterusnya lah.
Tiada kompromi ya?
Of course, that is saya sepanjang masa tidak akan berkompromi lah dengan perkara-perkara yang berkaitan dengan masalah salah laku dan juga tata kelola ini.
Dr. Zahir said this to reporters after launching an event at Taman Botani Putrajaya on Saturday. She added that individuals linked to the allegations would be called to give statements but did not confirm if Aflin had done so. On Tuesday, DBKL launched an internal investigation into an advisory board member's alleged misconduct related to the awarding of a 4 million ringgit project. Mayor Datuk Seri Maimunah Muhammad Sharif, who confirmed the probe, said she is working closely with DBKL's Integrity Unit. In the meantime, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) is monitoring the internal audit conducted by DBKL. Its Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki said they are awaiting the findings of the investigation and would take action if necessary.
Sekiranya dalam tempoh penyiasatan dalaman tu dalam masa terdekat terdapatnya elemen rasuah atau salah guna kuasa, saya memberi jaminan SPRM akan terus mengambil tindakan.
It was reported on Tuesday that the graft buster was ready to assist DBKL in its investigation into the allegations. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahir Hamidi announced that more than 23,000 personnel, along with nearly 500 sea, river and air assets, have been mobilized for flood operations in Sarawak. Ahmad Zahir, who is also the chairman of the National Disaster Management Committee, added that over 14,000 personnel from various agencies and 1,400 assets are assisting in the flood operations in Sabah. The government has allocated initial funds to all states and response agencies for operations during the northeast monsoon. The Deputy Prime Minister also emphasized the need to expedite and simplify the registration and verification process for victims to avoid delays in the distribution of compassionate aid. The flood situation in Sabah and Sarawak has slightly improved on Saturday as the total number of evacuees dropped to 13,903 compared to the 15,174 individuals reported earlier at 4 p.m. As of 8 p.m., Sarawak has the highest amount of evacuees with 12,418 people sheltering in 61 temporary relief centres, PPS, while Sabah has 1,485 in 13 PPS across the state. Bintulu remains the worst hit district with 4,771 people evacuated to 6 relief centres, while Serian and Siburan also recorded decreases in evacuees. Other affected districts include Selangau, Asajaya, Tatau Miri Subis, Sebuyau, Samarahan, Semunjan, Sebau, Kanawit, Gedong, Beluru, Mukah and Sibu. In Sabah, only 5 districts remain affected by the floods, with Pitas being the most affected district with 819 evacuees in 5 PPS. Other affected districts include Lahad Datu, Beaufort, Paitan and Beluran. Malaysia's participation at the World Economic Forum WEF has reinforced the Madani government's commitment to a value-based economy, balancing economic growth with social responsibility. According to Datuk Professor Dr. Muhammad Faiz Abdullah, chairman of the Institute of Strategic and International Studies, ISIS Malaysia, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim showcased Malaysia Madani by pushing for a value-based economy, ensuring that prosperity is coupled with social responsibility.
Now, on top of that, what you have is that classic situation where he had this very important strategic one-on-one dialogue with the convener, the founder himself, Klaus Schwab. That was clearly emphasized. And among other things, the Prime Minister outlined some of the basic things that we're going for, in line with the theme, Malaysia chairing ASEAN for 2025. Along the theme of inclusivity and sustainability. So some of the key messages were basically within that fabric.
He added that Malaysia's message at WEF was clear that economic growth must go beyond short-term gains and instead prioritize long-term sustainability while uplifting marginalized communities. With Malaysia set to lead ASEAN this year, the country's economic agenda will continue to champion equitable and sustainable development on the global stage. Malaysia has reaffirmed its unwavering support for the Palestinian cause, calling for the full implementation of the January 15 ceasefire agreement as a vital step towards lasting peace. There is also hope that the Hague Group, which was newly established in the Netherlands on Friday, will play a key role in ensuring justice and upholding the Palestinian people's right to statehood. Representatives from the governments of Belize, Bolivia, Colombia, Cuba, Honduras, Malaysia, Namibia, Senegal and South Africa convened in The Hague on Friday to formally inaugurate the Hague Group. Malaysia, represented by its ambassador to the Netherlands, Datuk Rosli Abdul, reaffirmed its steadfast commitment to the Palestinian cause.
Malaysia remains committed to supporting legal recourse at the International Court of Justice and hope members of the international community will work together to uphold its obligation under international law. To achieve accountability, historical injustices undermining Palestinian existence and rights need to be addressed.
Malaysia and the 8 member states of the Hague Group have also called on all countries to take effective measures to end the Zionist regime's occupation of Palestinian territories. The group also highlighted the arrest warrants issued by the International Criminal Court against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Member states further pledged to prevent the supply or transfer of weapons, ammunition and related equipment to Israel and to block ships from docking if there is a clear risk that they are being used to transport military fuel and weapons to the country. Employers should not pass on increased operational costs to consumers following the implementation of the newly increased minimum wage, which takes effect beginning Saturday. President of the Malaysian Employers Federation, MEF, Dato' Syed Hussein Syed Husman, said such price hikes could lead to high inflation and reduced competitiveness. In a statement, he urged employers to explore various other strategies to avoid transferring costs to consumers. These include improving operational efficiency, investing in employee upskilling, and adopting new technologies to enhance business operations. Beginning Saturday, some 4.37 million workers will receive a minimum wage of 1,700 ringgit per month, up from the previous 1,500 ringgit. MEF has called on all employers to comply with the new minimum wage implementation, emphasizing that it will help businesses attract workers, boost productivity, and contribute to national economic growth. At the same time, the MEF also urged continued support for employers, particularly micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, through financial incentives and training programs.
Telah berusaha untuk wujudkan muafakat nasional. Kegilatalaan orang itu jangan dilayanlah. Kita telah melihat hati budi mereka. Kita jangan dipatuk oleh ular yang sama di tempat yang sama buat kali yang kedua lah. Bersama saya Zahir Hamidi dalam podcast utama Buletin TV3 jam 10 pagi Ahad ini, 2 Februari, di semua platform media sosial Buletin TV3.
The Pulau Pinang Department of Occupational Safety and Health has shut down a factory in Perai following a fatal toxic gas incident. In the incident, 1 worker died, another was in critical condition, and 6 others were placed under observation following inhalation of toxic gas. The department said preliminary findings showed that the 8 workers from a contractor company were hired to conduct an 8-day fumigation exercise for pest control at the factory from January 21st. However, on Wednesday, when one of the workers returned to the fumigation site with a colleague to take gas readings in one of the factory buildings, both experienced vomiting, breathing difficulties and fainted after leaving the premises. They were rushed to a nearby hospital for treatment. The department said one of the workers was pronounced dead at the hospital on Thursday, while the other remains in critical condition in the intensive care unit. It also noted that the doctor who treated the victims suffered breathing difficulties and a sore throat after performing CPR on them. 6 other workers who showed early symptoms of toxic gas exposure were allowed to return home but remain under medical observation. The department said the areas that underwent fumigation at the factory have been ordered shut, and a prohibition notice on the use of the hazardous chemical methyl bromide has been issued until the investigation is complete. The department has also directed the employer to conduct an internal investigation to determine the cause of the incident, implement corrective measures and present the case to the department. An Indonesian man suspected of being involved in the shooting incident in the waters of Tanjung Ru, Banting on January 24th has been arrested by police. The suspect was detained in Teluk Panglima Garang on Friday night. Selangor Police Chief Datuk Hussein Omar Khan said the suspect has been remanded for 14 days to assist in the investigation into the shooting incident involving a Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency MMEA officer and a group of undocumented Indonesian migrants. So far, statements from 14 officers and personnel from the agency have been recorded. Testimonies from 2 out of 4 suspects have also been obtained.
Masuk ke Malaysia sebagai pelancong lah. Jadi untuk bantu siasatan polis. Manakala siasatan berkaitan kes itu pun kita hampir siap dan kemungkinan boleh rujuk kepada timbalan pendakwaan raya dalam awal minggu depan.
Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim on Friday had assured that the government would conduct a thorough and transparent investigation into the incident. In Kuala Lumpur, police are actively searching for 3 more individuals believed to be involved in an incident where 2 vehicles ploughed into a group of people outside a nightclub along Old Klang Road on Wednesday. Brickfields Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Ku Mashariman Ku Mahmud said police are still working to track down the individuals involved. In a statement on Saturday, Ku Mashariman explained that no new arrests linked to the case have been made so far and efforts to locate the suspects are ongoing. The 3 individuals identified as 25-year-old M. Devendran, 19-year-old M. Ranjith and 27-year-old M. Lavindran. On Thursday, Kuala Lumpur Deputy Chief Police Dato' Azri Akmal Ayub said that so far 5 suspects connected to the incident had been arrested and all of them have criminal records. In the incident on Wednesday, 2 individuals were injured after a Toyota Hilux and a Toyota Vios ploughed into the path of a group outside the nightclub. Initial investigations reveal the altercation stemmed from an argument between the 2 groups while they were partying, which led to the attack. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for attempted murder. JDT cruise into 4th final sports action from the Malaysia Cup when we come back.
Kanser prostat adalah kanser yang paling kerap dialami oleh golongan lelaki di Malaysia.
Dia dikatakan agak tinggi dari segi lelaki. Mereka akan meninggal disebabkan kanser.
Lebih awal dikesan, lebih tinggi peluang untuk sembuh sepenuhnya.
Jangan tunggu sampai ada simptoms. Kalau mereka tak ada jumpa kita, kita tak ada chance untuk periksa mereka.
Kanser prostat, ancaman senyap lelaki. Diskusinya dalam Hello Doktor, Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Awak ni boleh jadi dark horse tau. You are a complete performer. So saya harap to see more of you.
Saya salute you punya semangat tu. You know, you have a very unique voice.
I saw you keluar, I said, man, for to nyanyi begitu, now that's hebat lah, come on.
Lestarikan warisan seni budaya agar tidak ditelan zaman.
Sebagai seorang adik guru, cik semulihnya dengar tengok.
Kelingkan ni ada juga di negeri lain tetapi telah pupus sebab tak ada pewaris yang mewarisi seni sulaiman ni.
Kalau Negeri Sembilan ni letak kunyit, lepas tu letak kunyit goreng sikit. Ikan baung berapi sama asam gelugu.
Hai, jangan lupa saksikan saya, Tracy Sinidol, Ahad ini jam 2 petang hanya di TV3.
You got that part di mana kamu bisa menempatkan emosi kamu, mana yang harus ini.
You deliver dengan bagus sekali, dengan emotion you. I boleh rasa, you punya rasa sedih itu I boleh rasa.
Kalau itulah suara demam, kalau tak demam macam mana pula kan? You give it a different twist to it. I think it works. No words.
We're back with sports football, the Malaysia Cup. Johor Darul Takzim JDT have qualified for their 4th consecutive final of the competition after defeating Terengganu 2-1, securing a 6-1 aggregate in the 2-legged semi-final on Saturday. Entering the match with a 4-0 aggregate lead, the Southern Tigers showed no mercy, taking the lead just after the half-hour mark through Herberty Fernandez. The Turtles fought back in the second half with Ismail Akinade finding the equalizer in the 59th minute with a superb first-time finish. Stunned, Brazilian playmaker Herberti then put the game to bed, blasting home his second from 20 metres out to secure the 2-1 win, sealing their spot in the final with a dominant 6-1 aggregate score. Awaiting Hector Bigdoglio's men in the final will be the winner of the semi-final clash between Pahang FC and Sabah FC. Still on football, the German Bundesliga, Werder Bremen moved to within a point of Mainz and the league's top six after a 1-0 home win on Friday, which was soured by two late sendings off for the hosts. Bremen could have gone ahead in the 12th minute when they were awarded a controversial penalty, but Marvin Duk's spot kick was saved by Mainz goalkeeper Robin Zentner. However, the disappointment did not last long as Leonardo Bittencourt bundled home from close range 4 minutes later to put the hosts in front. The 1-0 scoreline remained after the break before the match ended in controversy, with the home side losing their captain Marco Friedl as well as fellow defender Nicholas Stark in stoppage time. The demonstrations continued after the final whistle, leading to a red card for Bremen's head coach Ole Werner, but Bremen could at least be satisfied with a return to winning ways, while Mainz suffered their third defeat in 4 league games. Turning to tennis, the 2025 Linz Open. Top seed Karolina Muchova beat the determined Anastasia Potapova in 3 games to reach her first semi-finals of the season on Friday. In the match, Muchova struck an impressive 29 winners to claim a 6-3, 3-6, 6-3 victory over the 2023 champion after more than 2 hours on court. The Czech world number 19 will next face 4th seed Ekaterina Alexandrova for a place in the final. Earlier, Auckland champion Clara Towson continued her winning streak with a convincing 6-4, 6-3 victory against Anna Blinkova. The 8th-seeded Dane will face Daria Yastremska, seeded 5th in Saturday's semi-final. Another US aviation disaster. The details when Nightline returns.
Sumber kewangan pun tak tahu nak ambil daripada mana. Jadi kadang-kadang macam itulah, tahan diri lah. Daripada minum susu, cuba benda lain yang boleh datangkan tenaga selain daripada susu.
Keadaan saya ni, saya masih cukup sifat. Buat masa ni lemah. Berbanding saya, sebenarnya ramai lagi orang yang lagi teruk keadaannya, ada yang tak cukup sifat. Jadi saya fikir macam tu, alhamdulillah kerja saya boleh jadi mudah lah.
About you is your lower notes. Your lower notes, you got this constant flu punya, crooner punya sound.
Comel, penampilan memang macam AJL. Kak Ji selalu tekankan setiap penyanyi kalau boleh sebutan tu lagi jelas.
Cuman untuk ketika membawakan sebuah lagu yang fun, kita harus mencoba bikin sesimpel mungkin, tapi kita bisa enjoy bersama.
おい、逃げてんじゃねえや。恐れを抱いていた。そうだろう。葵を助けることを優先する。龍が。
警察に任せて。
そんなことしたら葵が危ない。
じゃああんたは。
龍がどこですか。負け惜しみを言うな。お前は私に負けたんだ。
Roppongi Class Minggu akhir Sabtu dan Ahad 7 malam di Yoshi TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
1, mana cukup?
Lalu over?
Tidak kalau anda di
Pentas Runway Anugerah Juara Lagu 39 Nada Rasa. Barulah terangkat rasa.
In another U.S. aviation disaster, all 6 passengers have been killed on a medical plane that crashed in Philadelphia neighborhood on Friday night, including a mother and her daughter. According to Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker, many people on the ground were also injured as homes and fires in the areas were ablaze in the aftermath. The number of injuries, however, has not yet been disclosed. Earlier, video footage showed the twin-engine plane descending at a sharp angle toward a residential area, sparking a huge fireball upon impact. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, said the aircraft was a Learjet 55, an American-French business jet that had taken off shortly before from Northeast Philadelphia Airport bound for Branson, Missouri. It was reported that the plane had been on a medical transport mission carrying a child patient and her mother and 4 crew members. Separately, U.S. authorities has restricted helicopter flights near Reagan Washington National Airport on Friday after a mid-air collision between an American Airlines passenger jet and a military helicopter that killed 67 people this week. According to the U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, the FAA sharply restricted helicopter flights near Reagan to reduce the risk of another collision. The FAA is barring most helicopters from parts of the 2 routes near the airport and only allowing police and medical helicopters, air defense and presidential air transport in the area between the airport and nearby bridges. The restrictions will last at least until the National Transportation Safety Board releases a preliminary report into the fatal collision, which typically takes 30 days. Still in the U.S., 2 devastating wildfires in Los Angeles were declared fully contained by firefighters on Friday after burning for more than 3 weeks, killing about 30 people and displacing thousands more. The state's firefighting agency, CAL FIRE, updated the figures on its website on Friday to show 100% containment of the Palisades and Eaton fires in Southern California's Los Angeles County, meaning their parameters were completely under control. Evacuation orders were also lifted earlier, with the fires not posing a serious threat for days. The fires were the most destructive in the history of the second largest U.S. city, burning more than 37,000 acres and over 10,000 homes, causing damage estimated to cost hundreds of billions of dollars. On another matter, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has threatened a forceful and immediate response if the U.S. goes ahead with a 25% tariff on Canadian goods set to take effect on Saturday. In a social media post on X, Trudeau on Friday stated that no one on either side of the border wants to see American tariffs imposed on Canadian goods. He also mentioned meeting with the Canada-U.S. Council and emphasized that efforts are underway to prevent these tariffs. Trudeau, however, added that if the U.S. proceeds, Canada is prepared to respond forcefully and immediately. His remarks followed White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt's confirmation that 25% duties on Canadian and Mexican goods would take effect on Saturday. Before we leave, let's take a look at the groundbreaking exhibition in Tokyo, which allows visitors to travel back to Japan's samurai era. With that, I'm Zahir, Kelvin, Abdullah. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your weekend.